The words hit harder than the crash that put me in the chair. Her brother stood behind her, all muscle and silent judgment, pretending to be my caretakers. I watched them pack my life into boxes like they were taking out the trash. "I can't take care of you after your accident," she said, not looking at me. Her brothers lifted my wheelchair, rolled me out of the house I'd built for her, and left me on the curb like an unwanted appliance. That's how a marriage ends. Not with a bang, not even with a scream. Just the dull click of a door locking behind you. Before the accident, I was her miracle. The man who built everything she wanted. A house by the lake, a business that thrived, money that flowed quietly, steadily. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable, and she liked comfort more than love. When I was lying in the hospital, leg crushed, ribs cracked, I thought she'd be there. I imagined her hand in mine. But she didn't come until discharge day, just to tell me where to sign the divorce papers. I remember her perfume that day, vanilla and venom. Still, I nodded. Let her think I was broken. Let them all think that. The first few nights alone were brutal. The world feels different when you can't stand, when pity replaces respect. I spent hours staring at the ceiling, hearing her voice replaying in my head. A burden. But then I started thinking, not like a victim, like an engineer again. You see, before the crash, I ran a small software company, a cybersecurity firm. I built systems that could watch everything without being seen. I'd installed a network of remote backups for our home business accounts, our devices, our cameras. My wife never noticed the cameras. She thought the little black dots in the corners were air quality sensors. They weren't. So one night, I wheeled up to my laptop, logged into the old system, and watched. She moved on fast. He came over 2 weeks after they threw me out. The brother, Eli. The same one who'd carried my boxes like they were his burden too. They laughed in the kitchen, drank from the whiskey I'd been saving for our anniversary, kissed. That's when the pain turned to purpose. I started planning. My hands still worked, my mind sharper than ever. Pity is a good disguise. It keeps predators from noticing you have teeth. I waited until their guard was down, watched their patterns, when they slept, when they used their phones. I saw how she'd transferred funds from our joint accounts to her own, how Eli used the business credit card to pay for contracting services that didn't exist. I kept records, duplicates, time-stamped and encrypted. Then I began building something new, quietly, carefully. A small program that mimicked our business's transaction logs but fed fake data to her login. She thought she was still withdrawing from a healthy account. In reality, I was bleeding it dry into a trust, under my name, my control. By the time she noticed, the only thing left in her account was my signature on the divorce settlement. The second part took patience. Revenge always does. I sent Eli an anonymous email, evidence of his contracting fraud attached, masked as a whistleblower tip. The IRS took it seriously. They froze his accounts within days. Then I leaked the videos. Not publicly, just to her. A private email, time-stamped, labeled simply, 3 weeks after you threw me out. No words. Just her face on the screen, her voice whispering things she once whispered to me. She didn't reply, but I heard through mutual contacts that she left town for a while. Tried to sell the house. Couldn't. The title was under investigation because of Eli's fraud. Everything they'd stolen turned to dust in their hands. 3 months after that day on the curb, I rolled up to the house again. Not to beg, not to plead, to collect. The lawn was overgrown. The for sale sign hung crooked. She came to the door thinner, eyes hollow, wearing the same perfume like she thought it could still mask the rot underneath. "What do you want?" she asked, voice cracking. "Nothing," I said. "It's all yours." Confusion flickered in her eyes. I let it sit there, sweet and slow. Then I handed her an envelope. Inside, a notice of property seizure, IRS emblem, her name, Eli's. I turned my chair, started rolling back down the path. She called out, voice shaking, "What did you do?" I didn't look back. I just stopped taking care of you. They lost everything within weeks. Accounts drained. House seized. Eli charged with tax fraud. She tried to plead ignorance, but the emails tied her to every transfer. They were so eager to bury me, they forgot to cover their own tracks. I watched from a distance as the empire of comfort crumbled. No anger left, just a quiet satisfaction, the kind that doesn't need applause. Maybe she was right, for a while. But a burden can shift weight, can crush the hand that drops it. I don't walk anymore, but I stand taller than ever. And somewhere, in a cold apartment, she's probably.